Good morning everyone and welcome back to the two-headed wolf gaming channel and Total War Saga Troy, where yesterday we have just finished the campaign with Penthesilea and the Amazon hordes, a campaign which personally I have found to be very enjoyable, especially early on, trying to survive, putting together all of these plans which would just push us further into the campaign, and the endgame was pretty good also, focusing on elements which for me personally still had some values, meaning the battles, we didn't have to manage any cities that we did not care about. Then there were the objectives which we had to complete in order to finish the campaign, and the storyline. I feel it was good enough to bring in and hold together all of these elements in such a way that it created a great product, a great campaign that I would recommend you try out as well if you have Total War Troy, or maybe if you'll get it yourself at some point in the future during a sale or whatnot. Definitely a nice improvement on the horde mechanics, which we first seen in the Total War Attila game, while also bringing in some inspiration and some of the mechanics which we've seen in Total War Warhammer from the Orc faction. Some of you know what I'm talking about if you've played the game or if you've watched videos about it. So yeah, a nice experience, definitely very different than the city-dwelling factions. However, it still feels a lot like Total War, and it was fun to play. But what are we going to do now? First of all, I want to share with you one of the recommendations that I got from you guys. It is called the Extended Factions mod. Now, this is not what we're going to do today. I've just skimmed through it from your recommendation and I was absolutely amazed. It's mind-blowing the amount of content that this Extended Factions mod has. Not only factions, but units and skills and maps and all that. A lot of content into it, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because I wanted to say first of all a huge thank you for the recommendation, and maybe you look it up as well because it might be worth it. At this moment I'm just going to look further into it, and I'm going to try to figure out what can I do and when can I do it and go from there. On the other side, we also have on the 11th of October Total War Pharaoh. Until then, there is an early access weekend this week between the 29th of September and the 2nd of October for people who pre-ordered the game. And I looked through it and curiosity got the better of me, and I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and pre-order it because I feel like you guys might be curious as well, especially since there seems to be some similarities, especially in the battle map, between Total War Saga Troy and Total War Pharaoh. So I wanted to get into it and share my thoughts on it. And if you've seen my past videos, my past series, especially in the Total War sagas, you will know that I am not on one side or the other of Creative Assembly. I mean, I have enjoyed and been excited for Total War games, while I've also been disappointed by the products, the state of the game, or the DLCs. I feel like I'm pretty much a normal consumer in this whole thing. The way I approach Total War games though, it's mostly defined by curiosity. I am very curious to see what they've made, how do mechanics work, have they made any breakthroughs which will just improve future Total War games and things like that. So I'll be exploring these games, and even if it's not the greatest, I'm still going to go through the entire game and talk throughout it, and especially at the end, of what I like, what I don't like, what I would like to see in the future, and things like that. So if you want to see the game from this point of view, join me during the next weekend. Even though it's limited in scope, we are going to try out as much as we have access to, and then we're going to play the entire game on release. Whew, that was a long intro. Thank you for sticking around. Let's click on New Campaign, and we're going to do today something that we have not done so far. We have done the Truth Behind the Myth, we have done Mythological, we have not done Historical, and I feel like, why not try it now, right? We're preparing for a historic title, let's go on this path. What do we have here? Well, a traditional grounded in reality Total War experience, where heroes charge into battles accompanied by a unit of capable bodyguards. So we're not getting these heroes which can pretty much fight armies on their own. They will be guarded by capable bodyguards, it says here, and they will not be totally mortal. Praying to the gods of Olympus results in passive effects tailored to historical reality. So a bit buffed down, I would say. All units are grounded in reality. We're gonna go on this path. And I've figured out that the next faction that we should play from the Trojan side will be Memnon. The mighty warrior king Memnon has traveled from the distant lands of Ethiopia in command of a formidable and diverse mercenary host, hailing from faraway shores. Once again, we're getting a horde, but from the first view that I've taken for this faction, I've realized that they are very different than the Amazons, and I decided, you know what, since we have the Amazons so fresh in our minds, let's go for Memnon and let's look at the differences and the similarities between them, because I really feel like it's a great work of creativity when it comes to this faction. He is the Pharaoh's servant. We do not recruit units through our buildings, so from the start we're already having a big change comparing them to the Amazon hordes. Call on unit reinforcements for your faction from various territories in Egypt, Ethiopia, Canaan, and Susa. Manage a supply of reinforcement which, though limited, enables you to raise a full army in a single turn. Unlock new territories, providing a variety of stronger units. Resourceful strategists. We do not have access to spies, envoys, and priest agents. Once again, another big difference. Assign camp followers to armies, providing different benefits. Your armies cannot reinforce or be reinforced. Perform actions of active camp followers before battle to compensate. Then we are a horde, it's the same idea, we cannot settle on cities, we will raise them and we will have to plan out the resources that we want to gather. We do not have defenders, but we do have champions, warlords and archers. Memnon's roster consists of mostly quick, lightly armored warriors that however have the means to survive until the late stages of battle. Each culture within the roster provides different strategic advantages. Great. Hailing from the remote kingdom of Ethiopia, a vassal state of Egypt, the great warrior king Memnon was a distant cousin of Paris and Hector, whose prowess in battle very nearly rivaled that of Achilles himself. Renowned as a humble yet formidable leader of men, Memnon pledged a mighty mercenary host in support of Troy, bringing together a vast elite fighting force assembled from the diverse kingdoms on faraway shores. We get 10% campaign movement range and minus 5% to the construction cost of all horde buildings. We're gonna play on hard. I don't want this to be dragging up for too long. We're gonna skip the video here, but we are going to listen to the narrator. I am really excited to try this out.
O bronze-armed Memnon, your distant kin in Ilion have roused the anger of the mighty Achaean warlords.
Brother, your foolish passion has doomed us.
And so you have sailed out, the spear tip of a mighty host blessed by divine Pharaoh, on a mission to aid exquisite Troy in the face of looming ruin.
I stand loyal to my kinsmen. My shield will shelter the people of Troy.
But be wary, for Rhodes does not take kindly to allies of Priam, and even now muster their forces for battle against you. Farther west, Idomeneus, king of Crete, will interpose his might ahead of you in the great theater of war between Achaeans and your Trojan kin. Take heart, great Memnon, for you are blessed by the dawn, and girded for war by Pharaoh himself. Your victory is assured.
And there we have it. A great start, blessed by the dawn. Are we blessed by Ra? Horde, Pharaoh servant, resourceful strategist. Great. Defeat an army. That's how we start our game as per usual. We have some Ethiopian tribesmen, which are club and shield infantry. Spear and shield infantry. We have two-handed club infantry. Okay, this looks pretty decent. Yeah, look at the stats, the difference between the tribesmen and the staff bearers. Definitely a big difference overall. All of the stats, weirdly. Okay, so we will want more of these. We have archers, javelin men, and slinger. Crazy combination, not the type of army that I want to build. But first of all, as you can see, the lighting on these maps has changed in the historical. The bloom that we had in the more mythological or even the truth behind the myth is gone. I feel like you could change it from somewhere here in the menu, but I will stay with the neutral colors. I like the change. So let's try this out. Let's go and fight the first army as per usual. Not gonna impose much of a challenge, but we are going to test these units out. Still, early on it's a bit more difficult than later on in the campaign, as our units are quite light and quite squishy, and the AI on hard difficulty has some bonuses. Start the battle. Now look at that. That looks more natural than what we've seen before. And I like the color scheme. I think they've done a good job. We can see here that most of our units have vanguard deployment. We have these spearmen and these slingers who do not. I would use it. I would use the vanguard deployment. However, we are not close enough. I mean, if I deploy my troops, let's say that I deploy them here. Gonna take them a while until they get to these ranged troops. We'll take a quick look here at our troops. Here are our tribesmen. This is Memnon. Nothing too impressive overall to begin with, but we are going to try it out. So we are going to put you in a group, and I'm going to bring you here so that you have a straight path towards them. I could bring Memnon here together with this tribesman, although no, we're going to do slightly different. I will take this group here because I want the staff bearers to be fighting their hero here. What are we accompanied by? We are accompanied by spearmen, so that is not going to be too great. We will have to be very careful here. These clubmen will wreck our units. And I will take another tribesman here, and we're going to mostly, I'll be using this to protect them, but we are going to use the ranged troops to take down these young spears. Let's go forward. Let's bring you on this side. Let's bring the spearmen forward. Yeah. We'll focus for now on these young spears. The staff bearers, I will want you to on this side. Let's have the tribesmen go after the Achaean slingers. Yeah, I will try to rush there. We will have the spears on this side. What do we have here? The War God's Call forces a target to attack the taunter. Yeah, mostly I'm just going to go like this. Let me retreat for a second. Great. That was a nice charge on his hero. He has taken a lot of damage. We have taken some damage here as well because we were running after the slinger and we got charged from behind.
Your hero is under attack.
Ah. You focus on these spearmen. Good, his hero is out. Let's go after his slingers. He has broken here. Let's go after these slingers. You stay on his hero unit.
Victory is close enough to taste.
Run away. Let's run away with the archers as well. We have taken some damage on our hero. I feel like this battle is in the bag. We just have to finish the battle. We don't have to worry too much about anything else because they are already, let's call them, in the retreat mode. These first battles are always like that, where you only have to defeat them now, or at least in the recent games. In the old Total War Shogun, I think you had to defeat twice the rebels.
Thy Ares, your warriors are rallying.
Okay. Good. We have done well here. We lost a few tribesmen, but nothing to worry about. Nice. I really hope that Total War Pharaoh has the budget, has enough budget behind it, where it makes so many improvements on some of these games that we love. Because if you followed many of my series, I know you love these games as much as I do, and I know you felt the shortages that we've had in making these games, in some of these games, even though they have great ideas behind them. Let's take a look here at Memnon. He has lineage. We know this with the campaign movement rate and the reduced cost for construction. He's an epic hero, so he does not die even though he gets hurt in battle. Okay. Or he's a Homeric character. Epic hero gives him 20% more generated rage in battle, 15 to morale of hero, and 3 to influence, which does not matter to us. Expedition commander. The army will regain 30% campaign movement range after raising a settlement, 8% to campaign movement range, and 15% to the success chance of ambushes, but we cannot reinforce or be reinforced. As far as the skills go, now the War God's Call just forces the target to attack the taunter. And I think I'm going to go with lead by example just to get that 10% to attack, melee attack, weapon damage, and melee defense. Here we have a unit. It says it's an Ethiopian spearman. We cannot switch with anything at the moment, but these are really weak. Light class, poor defense, they have vanguard deployment, so at least that is a plus. But other than that, there's nothing. We also have the Pharaoh's Wreath, a stone tablet that proclaims the holder as a representative of the Pharaoh, with all the required flourishes and grandiose titles. Plus 5 to morale of all units in the hero's aura, plus 5% to the morale of all units in the hero army, and plus 5 to melee attack of all units. Great. Okay, so this is where we start from. Let me show you how we recruit some units, because we will need a few extra in order to sack this settlement. We will get the food first, and then we're gonna go for the bronze, and finally we will go for the gold up here, where we will have to besiege the settlement. So, up here, we have the Pharaoh's servant. Relying on the influence of the Pharaoh and his own fame, Memnon can call upon reinforcements from several distant regions of Ethiopia, Egypt, Canaan, and Susa. We've read that before, and this is what we can bring units from. So we will not be recruiting, but we will be calling reinforcement. It has a cost every time we bring them up. It provides, I guess it provides 2 units of spear and 1 unit of slinger here, with this limited capacity. And over here we have, so we have the slingers and we have the Nefru infantry. These do not have vanguard deployment, as you can see over here. I feel like that for this army, what I want to try out is a more ambushing kind of gameplay. Maybe something we can bring more of these units with vanguard deployment and just try to wrap around the enemy constantly. I feel like that could be a good idea. But this is what we have here from the Egypt region. We have these units. Then we have better spears, two-handed or chariot runners, archer chariots. Quite expensive overall, as you can see, but they could be pretty good. Horseback sharpshooting. This unit can fire all around and not just in front of itself. So this could be a great unit in order to harass the enemy. Then we have even better bow chariots, better spear and shields, and better Egyptian archers. A great combination of units, but definitely for a very static army. We could probably combine with some from Canaan here, where we have this axe and shield infantry and sword and shield infantry. You can see that they have a lot of armor on them. And over here we have a two-handed spear chariot and also Henku guards. What is that turtle? The turtle says flanking defense improved. So once again, very heavy unit, strong, limited to only 2, as you can see. In Susa we have some Shredden warriors, sword and shield infantry. Seems like these are elite. Immune to flanking, and they have battlefield healing. Shoot while moving. What an interesting unit here. And then we have some better slingers. And finally, the places where I feel like I'm going to call the most units from. Here in Ethiopia, we have more tribesmen, javelins, and two-handed spears. Ethiopian javelin men, Ethiopian archers, and the staff bearers, which I do like. I'm thinking of calling some of them, but we will need a lot more wood in order to do so. And finally, over here, better archers and better two-handed spear infantry. But once again, vanguard deployment. And there's something which I haven't seen before. Leader's wheel plus 22 morale. What do I want to call for now? We could bring in some spears, which would be a good front line. Or I could bring in more of these tribesmen. 6300 health, these have 7200 with 20 armor and 48 attack, while these ones have 10 armor and 29 attack. Or no, melee attack damage 48, and these ones have 74. I feel like this is going to bring us the most with the least amount of resource cost.
Ethiopia triumphs.
However, we also have to think whether we want to construct a building or not. Well, we have new buildings. There would be a few more buildings if we would play to the mythological side, which would allow us to recruit more mythological units. We could get more resources from raiding. We don't care for this at the moment. We're getting 4% to range of missile units in the hero's army. We get 10 to morale of all units from Egyptian territories. And increases... oh, this one increases our unit capacity. Okay. 1% to scaling melee damage for all units for each follower assigned to this army, capped at 20%. And missile damage, so we get melee damage and missile damage for each follower. We will look at followers soon as well. Egyptian scroll knowledge would increase administration efficiency, reduce the construction cost of all horde buildings, and increase our casualty replenishment rate by 1%. You know what? We are going to do this. The only thing that I am slightly sad about is that we don't have the gods, the Egyptian gods represented here. But I guess they weren't in the conflict, so it makes sense. Okay, so I am going to do this, and now it's going to make it a lot easier to call in some reinforcements. We will call these ones.
Soldiers of glory travel
Nice, easy. It takes one more turn until we can call them again, but now...
servant of Egypt.
oh no, it still takes us one turn to get them.
At once.
Well, let's go and attack the food settlement. I am not going to wait here. We're going to fight the battle because I want the food. I want us to move on this island of roads as quickly as we can. And prepare to move forward. Okay. The city is at level 1, so we have a very open space here to fight. We're not going to rush forward, there's no point in doing that. We're just gonna stay nice and slow here. Take our time. We'll bring these units to the side just so we can flank, and we'll have our ranged troops. Okay, pretty soon I should be able to bait them, right? So just a tiny bit forward, and at this point I should be able to do some damage. Maybe I don't even have to wait. Let's go like this. Let's use our ranged troops to attack the young spears. We will use the archers to attack these warriors. Bring the rest on the flank.
The foe has sighted your hidden
For some
units.
reason he wants to attack us in melee, so I am going to attack his slingers. These units do have shield. There's another young spear unit there. I'm just gonna quickly charge these units. You attack them.
Your warriors are losing heart.
Okay. Apparently we're following one of the units and we got a bit damaged there. But that is going to be okay. I'm going to bring these two-handed warriors.
Victory is close enough to taste.
Yeah. Early game. We don't have to worry too much. Yeah. Battle over. That's it. I am going to take down the hero. Come on. Go down. Done. At this moment we should have enough food to bring another set of units during the next turn. We could get, for 2 turns, 7 melee damage of all units and 7 melee attack of all units. Push on. Interesting. This is giving us the most resources. This one will give us horde growth. And for the moment, I want the wood, but I will take the growth, because I feel like it's giving us enough wood to where I could call in some more units, right? No, I would need 820 next turn. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to have another battle over here,
March with me.
which means that we will get some resources from these as well. Ooh, look at the replenishment there though. Ouch. I am not used to this anymore. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at our objectives. What are our overall objectives? We will have to do the mission chain. We will have to raise Mycenae and Teleon. Okay. Unlock all of the Pharaoh's servant territories. Current progress 0 out of 6. So we have to unlock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we will have to gain access to all of these territories. And on one side we do it by research. Like this. Canaanite Brothers, Eastern Honor, that's for cost reduction. There's another unlock over here, unlocks the territory of Susa. So overall we will have to use resource and spend resource in order to gain access to different territories. For the moment, probably getting some growth, getting the price of mercy and pillaging for victory is a decent way to go forward. There's also this with the Pharaoh's gesture, however it takes a lot of turns. However, we could get it in order to reduce the cost of Egyptian units. But I do feel like going down this path is probably still the best. as having more resources early on is better.
Son of the dawn.
Okay. Anything else that I need to see? Diplomacy. I don't care for that much. Divine will doesn't matter right now. Resourceful strategies. So here are our agents, the spies and everything that we've used, that we will use from here on out. And we can bring in one type of follower from each section, I believe. Select one or more followers to assign. Now, I am not sure exactly how this will function, if we will get everything. Does it say? What was the button? F11, F10? These are all the camp followers that are available for this army. The camp followers with additional ornamentation on their icon borders are active. So we have... No, I'm guessing there's different kind of ornamentation. Okay. While the rest are passives. Passive camp follower, active camp follower. The passive ones are attached to your army and provide passive benefits to it at no additional cost. The active ones are assigned to your army and grant special actions on the pre-battle panel. The action costs gold. Camp followers are bound to the army and will linger if the hero is replaced, but will be lost if the army is destroyed or disbanded. I could spend 2000 food here just to get 5% unrestricted casualty replenishment and 3% additional replenishment rate of heroes. We could get some more horde with Ethiopian Dancer, Shipwright with campaign movement range at sea, Rumor Monger, minus 5% to the morale of all enemy units. Okay, well, let's take the Egyptian Healer. And I will also take a Rumor Monger, because I feel like early on this will be good. It's 3000 food in order to bring these two.
Follow me, friends, and teach me what you know.
But there we go. We have our first units. And we're gonna be playing just a tiny bit more. It's the first episode after all. There's a lot to talk about, and this is why I wanted to show off these. Okay, settlements. So the settlement defenses and this guy. Can I take them all like this? You know what? I don't have to. We will be retreating. The building we were constructing, we're not gonna get it now. The reason why I've done this, they are in forced march now, so they will be tired, and we will be getting a few more units. Call for reinforcements from Napata. Bonus experience for Memnon, and we get Chosen of Ra for 8 turns, 10% campaign movement range. This is our first epic mission. Under the auspices of the divine ruler, he sailed, the warrior king of Ethiopia, far across the wide dark sea. After months of entreating great Pharaoh, lord of the two lands, After months of entreating great Pharaoh, lord of the two lands, to allow you to venture to Troy and render aid to the house of Priam, Ra's Chosen has finally agreed to commission ships and ferry your men across the Aegean to join the fray. But you know too well that Pharaoh's blessing comes with a price. Issue a royal decree.
My honor guides me.
Did we get our units, or how did that go? Pharaoh's servant. Encore for another reinforcement. Do we need to do recruitment?
We will stop here.
Yes. Ah, I see. So when we're calling in reinforcements, we get them available to us. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we will get them in the army. We can spread them out between our different armies. Okay. Sure, totally fine with me. Now let's attack our final city for the day.
Remember your training.
This is going to be an easy battle as these are tired. Let's see, how do we do this? Probably once again, nice and slow. We're making a front line here with the spears. Probably should invest a bit more into the spears. I'm going to go around like this. Tired, very tired, yeah. Okay. Just to give me a bit of space to do some flanking. Slingers, just go after those young spears. Let's have these spears go forward, go forward, go forward. Javelins and archers, you focus on these young spears. And we will bring you around like so. We will have one of these clubmen go after Klepo Lemos. Okay.
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
Good. Let's just attack him here. Let's attack him here. Let's use these two-handed clubmen over there. I'm just gonna stop these guys in their track.
Your warriors are losing heart.
Okay. Over here, yeah, we have reached the enemy hero and we got slightly destroyed as these tribesmen didn't have a whole lot of health left. However, it doesn't matter too much as we are going to be rushing with the staff bearers. Good, let's keep throwing our javelins here. You go in a defensive mode, don't let them drag you down. You attack these spears.
Your warriors have been routed.
I will bring my general around. We could buff one of these units, probably the wrong one since they are so depleted. But it's going to work. Good. Let's turn around with the slingers here and focus on this hero. Two-handed staff warriors, let's bring you back. These spears will go forward. Yeah, this is going to be a really nice charge over here.
Victory is close enough to taste.
An interesting battle plan, I would say, overall. And that's it. It's curious how much strength we have in this area compared to what we have with the Amazon hordes, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. We've lost one of the tribesmen. We are going to... We're gonna raise and kill. We're gonna get the extra stats here. And resources. We will move you forward. Put you down in an encampment stance. And I believe that we can now call some reinforcements from Napata. But do I want that? The tribesman would be good for early on. And cheap. Yeah, let's bring in numbers more than anything else. So at this moment, we brought reinforcement from Napata, we get some experience, we get the Chosen of Ra, which will increase our campaign movement range. We still have to wait a turn to get those units, okay. Or, no, we do not. I see, okay. I'm learning a lot today. There we go. So now we have this army. We're still on positive food. We have enough tribesmen, we have a bunch of spears. I feel like we have a decent combination here. For you, you have reached rank 4. I don't want more lead by example. Minus 40% to upkeep cost of units from the Napata territory. Or minus 40% upkeep cost for units from the Sais territory. Then we have Nephreu infantry, Egyptian slingers, or Ethiopian spearmen and Ethiopian. So Napata or Sais.
Pharaoh will be pleased.
Far as costs go, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. %10 to the morale of units from Sais and Napata territory, that could be good. Units from Sais territory gain the expendable and disciplined attributes. Expendable means that if they die in battle, it's not going to have an impact on the army morale. Every time you lose a unit in battle, the rest of your units take a bit of a hit to their morale. Every time they retreat, every time they get killed, you will get a hit to morale. However, if they are expendable, people are like, yeah, we know what they are. They're not really that great, so it's not going to matter if they break or run from battle and things like that. And the discipline attribute, I believe it gives them better morale. So we could get from Napata or Sais to become expendable. Or we could get extra missile damage and extra experience to missile units. I think this is good for early on. I'm not sure how good it's going to be for later on, but let's go like this and we will become Ruthless Commander. Yeah, for the moment we're gonna do that. We're gonna become Ruthless Commanders.
A courageous victory.
Followers could get a bit of extra growth, but I would not like to spend 3500 food for that. Some gold would be good. But fighting any battle grants an action that reveals all enemy units. All enemy units. Is that across the map? When fighting any battle, grants an action that hurts the defending hero to half of their health. I was really looking forward to playing with these mechanics. Okay, there's nothing more, we'll just end the turn here. Recruit more units, good, we've got a few more resources, upgrade the horde
Memnon.
army. And we are going to be attacking this settlement.
Fight with honor.
And we're just gonna jump into it. I feel like there's no point in waiting. We are going to take a lot of damage here, of course. But let's do this. Okay, a lot of coverage. Some coverage here with 2 towers. I have to think of climbing walls rather than... I feel like this is probably the better one, right? Once we get into this inner wall, it's not going to matter anymore. And we have to think about climbing walls rather than opening gates and things like that. There's no moment where that is going to be good enough for us. Yep, bring everybody forward. Let's make sure that we take care of some of the better heroes, the more elite heroes here, or units. Could have some of you go there, some of you attack here. I am going to slightly retreat, maybe our hero? No, I think we can move him forward. And as soon as some of these units hit the wall, we can bring him as support. like now.
Your ladders have a foothold on their walls.
At the end of the day, this one will capture the gate, the tower here, which would reduce the damage. Okay, it seems like we are doing some damage to the heroes' units in the back. At this moment, we all have very weak units as our bodyguards.
We shall not falter.
Good.
Battle ready.
The staff bearers have taken a lot of damage while climbing. Okay, you capture there. I will move forward with this clubman towards these slingers. These units will engage over here with this spear. You go over here to these javelins. Let's bring our pharaoh or our leader up the walls. We will buff some of the units. The general bodyguard here took a lot of damage, which makes me super happy. Good. That's good.
You have captured the enemy tower.
Yeah. Let's also attack this champion. Right, with the clubman, we can push the spears forward. I could buff another one of these units, and let's do so. Good. You engage here with the slingers, please. You can engage here with this clubman as well. Okay, good damage. You focus on those archers. Or
Your warriors are losing
on
heart.
that general. I need to take a break and get a coffee. Let's get a bit of morale here. Okay, have to reposition some of these units.
Victory is close enough to taste.
Great, one general is down. We can focus on the other one, and the battle is not over, but most of it is. And sometimes that's all that matters. We can go forward here.
I shall not falter. To victory.
There it is. Another battle has ended. I feel it's a beautiful end to this episode. Had a lot to talk about. Thank you very much for sticking around and for watching the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow as we're continuing our campaign with Memnon. Should be a lot of fun. I wish you all to have a wonderful day.